I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by the Human Being in Newport and Lincoln City. And today we're a little further south for this episode. We're in Powers, Oregon. I'm with Fred Fry, who is with the Port of Coquille River. And we are talking about a really fun event that's coming up that they have, the Bass Derby. Fred, first of all, thanks so much for joining me. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the port and what you do?
Well, the Port Commission River District is a special district sanctioned by the state of Oregon. And we have a variety of authorities, and one of them is predator control, water quality, amongst others. And we have this smallmouth bass invasive fish that's eating all of our salmon. And so we've undertaken to try and make a difference here. We know that the ODF&W and the STEP program and the Coquille tribe are trying to enhance or get the salmon run back up to where it used to be, and the smallmouth bass are eating all the salmon. And ODF&W has declared open season on them. There's a no season or limit on how many you can catch. So we've undertaken to microchip bass and then put a price tag on them. One of our fish will be worth $10,000. And we'll have about 80 chipped fish out there. Now, one of them is worth $10,000, like I said. Nothing's less than $50, and we have some $100 fish and some $200 fish out there. And so the Derby always starts on the free fishing weekend, and it goes all summer long. And it goes till the second weekend in September. And on the weekends, we're advising people to freeze your fish throughout the week. And then on Saturdays, we have a station set up at Sturdivant Park where we will scan your fish to see if there's a microchip in one of them. And on Sundays, we're at the Myrtle Point Boat Ramp. And we'll have another group of people there scanning for that. And we'll do that all summer long. And we're hoping to get a big turnout and mobilize all the fishing poles in the region there to target these bass. And I state it that way because the other methods that have been used to try and reduce the bass have produced so much bycatch that they're limited. This way, we're targeting just the bass with the fishing poles. And so, last year, our first year of doing the Bass Derby, we were able to remove real close to 3,000 bass out of there. There's plenty of them there. And we're hoping to really increase that number this year because we'll be fishing all summer long as opposed to just 2 weekends like we did last year.
And Fred, how much does it cost to enter the Derby? Is it expensive?
Well, it's we want $20. We're asking for $20 for people to enter. We use that prize money to build our prize money catch, and but children 12 and under get in free, and disabled veterans get in free. But they have to sign up. We've got to have their name before they go fishing, so we know that that's the case. But otherwise, we're really all about trying to get the bass removed. But anyone who participates in this and pays the $20 and goes out and catches a few bass is really helping to restore the salmon run. And that's the bottom line of what we're trying to achieve here.
And can you talk a little bit more about that and the balance that has to take place for the salmon to be able to return?
Well, the problem we've run into is the bass are just voracious feeders. And so when you put the hatch boxes out and the salmon first hatch out, they're called salmon fry at that point, and until they reach smolt stage. Once they reach smolt stage, they head straight for the ocean. But they have to stay in the river for a period of time until they grow to that length. And that's when they're really vulnerable to the bass. And even 5, 6, 7-inch bass can come in and just eat way too many of them. And it's just been a real problem here. We're also associated with the STEP program, the Coquille tribe, and they have gotten to access to where they get all the eggs, and we're going to try and put way more salmon eggs out than was ever put out before. So our plan here, in association with the Port Commission, in association with the STEP and the Coquille tribe, is to put more salmon out there than the bass can eat, and then reduce the bass numbers. And the Derby is one of the mechanisms we're using to try and achieve that.
So let's talk about the Derby. You have a map here, if you want to hold that up. and show folks there's quite a large area that folks can fish in. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we planted most of the fish in the main stem, is what they call that, and that goes from Riverton, which is where the salt water comes in there and repels the bass. They don't get too much lower than that, and then all the way to Powers, Oregon, in the main stem. There's some fish in some of the other stems also, but right now we want to concentrate on the main stem, and we'll, as we get better established and people know more about it, we'll plant fish in the other tributaries. But right now we're just trying to get people out there and get them to fishing. It's a tidal river. The Coquille River is a tidal river all the way up to Myrtle Point or so. So people can put in, if they have a boat, 20-foot boat or better, with a party of people, can put in at Riverton and just troll for almost 20 miles there and fish. And then from there on, there's even more river all the way up to Powers, and you can fish on a bank. We've had people use paddle boards, use kayaks, where they can just go past the shallow ripples and get back into the deeper water. And some of those people had some of the highest catches last year.
So is there a limit of how many fish folks can catch?
No, they're invasive. And what got us into this is that ODF&W had declared open season on them, where there was no season, no size limit, no limit on the number you could catch, because they're destroying the river. They're eating the lampreys, they're eating the crawdads, they're eating up everything. And the environmental conditions are such that it's favoring the bass more than the other species, and so that gives them an unfair advantage. And so we're just trying to even that out.
And that's really important for the ecosystem of the river, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're not indigenous to the river. They were I've been told, and I don't know this for an exact fact, but I've been told by others that it is in the 1920s that is when the first bass got introduced there. But as the river lost shade and it got warmer, the bass did better, and the salmon have suffered greatly for it. And so is the lampreys, the crawdads, and suckers, and just everything else has been falling prey to them because they're just outnumbered.
And are there certain conditions that are better for fishing for bass?
Well, when the water gets to be 60 degrees or greater, they just bite everything. So you can go in there and just catch a pile of them. And this isn't really fishing, this is catching, okay? It shouldn't take you too many casts, depending on where you are, to reel one in every time. And it's great for kids. Like I say, 12 and under get in free. Teaches them to be a fisherman later on, gets them going. And they go out there and they're not frustrated by not catching anything, because they will catch.
I was going to say, that's the fun of it, is that they're actually catching.
Yeah.
And kids kind of tend to lose their patience after a while of throwing that fishing lure out several times and not getting anywhere. Well, so this is what makes it really fun for the kiddos.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And free fishing weekend is a perfect time to get started.
Yep, we're going to always we will always start the derby on the free fishing weekend, and then we'll go through up to the second week of September, like I say, and you can plan a vacation, a summer vacation, to come to the Coquille River anytime during that time frame. And as I said, there's a $10,000 fish swimming around out there. And we got a whole bunch of $50 fish and a few hundreds and some 200s.
Now, do you pay right away, or do you have to wait until September?
No, we pay right away. We cut a check, but if the $10,000 fish is not going to get paid right away, you're going to have to get.
There'll be some ceremony.
Yeah, it's going to be very all kinds of ceremony and stuff like that. So if you catch it, just plan on getting your picture taken, okay?
It sounds like fun. What do the bass bite on?
Almost anything. Almost anything. They and there's a whole. I was a commercial fisherman for 30 years. Okay, I never did, and that cured me of sports fishing, kind of. But there's some people out there that really can speak to what they bite on best. But a bobber and worms works real well. Just certain lures work well, and there's a lot of bass fishermen out there that can speak to this better than I can. But they basically hit anything once it's 60 degrees out there, because they're just voracious feeders, and they're warmed up, their metabolism's going, and they're looking for groceries.
All right. So, Fred, let's give folks the website or where they can purchase the tickets to get entered.
Well, we have a QR code on our flyers. It's also on our website and on our Facebook page. And we have a variety of outlets. England Marine in Charleston sells over the counter. The saw shop in in Myrtle Point, excuse me, sells over the counter. The feed store in Myrtle Point sells over the counter for people that aren't good about QR codes, or if they just want to do it that way. And the furniture store in Coquille also sells them, and the Chamber of Commerce in Bandon, and the Coquille or the Bandon Port office also sells tickets also. So those are places you can just go and pay your $20, and they'll give you a receipt for that, and we'll have you in the books.
We have more information up on our website as well. The POCRD.com is the website that folks can go to get some more information also. Fred, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by the Human Being in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101, and in Lincoln City at the north end of the highway on the west side next to TLC Credit Union. For Oregon Coast Breaking News, I'm Kiera Morgan.